Hello, my name is Jay. I'm joined here today by
Sam,
and we are the hosts of This Is the Pod. Now, I know what you're thinking. The one thing that the world needs right now is another Star Wars podcast. But we're fans of the Mandalorian, a couple of Fandalorians, if you will. Is that the technical term?
I guess that's what we'll call it.
I mean,
Mandalorian.
That's the thing is, like, Star Trek has always had, like, oh, you're a Trekkie if you're a Star Trek fan. I've heard, like, oh, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're a Star Warrior, you're a Star Warsian, but there's never...
Star Wars, I've never heard that one.
There's never been, like a uniform, official Star Wars title, so I think we should get Fandalorian going.
I'm cool with it, let's do it. Fandalorians, we're the Fandalorians.
We are the Fandalorians, and this is the pod. Now, this is actually a bit of a reunion for us.
That's right.
Some of you may have listened to our predecessor podcast, the 7 Studio Avenue, which that was a good time.
I agree.
All right, so we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian, and eventually sort of all things Star Wars. But this show is something that we were able to, like, bond over, despite being at different colleges after our friendship in high school. So,
and it's always nice to have new Star Wars, especially good Star Wars after the debacle that was Rise of Skywalker. But that's a story. That's a talk for.
That's an episode for another time. So we will be eventually talking about sort of Star Wars writ large, but we want to give the Mandalorian sort of its own thing for a while. It's the first live-action Star Wars show, so we felt that it merited a little love. So, let's jump into the Season 2 trailer that was released just this past Wednesday, which a lot of people were waiting for.
There was huge anticipation. Everyone wanted to know, when's the Mandalorian trailer coming out? When's it coming out? Because, it was supposed to come out sometime this fall or winter, so
right.
Where's the trailer?
Because they announced, like, the new season was streaming October 30th, back, like, mid-August, and we were hoping for a trailer then, and we probably would have gotten one at Star Wars Celebration if that was happening this year, but it is kind of similar to what happened last year, where we got a trailer in, like, September, or it was like mid-September, and the season dropped November 12th with Disney+.
There was word, some articles were written, there was word that apparently a trailer was made, and the Disney execs, they weren't happy with it, and just overall there were huge production issues relating to Pedro Pascal, actually, apparently being super difficult on set, not wanting to walk around with the suit. He specifically asked for more shots of him with his helmet off, and Disney was like, no way, we're not budging on that. And again, this is all just like stuff that allegedly happened. This isn't like confirmed or anything, but
which that does kind of make sense. If you're the star of a Star Wars project, you want to sort of have your face on that.
Right.
It's like everybody knows who Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver are.
Yeah.
It's like they're the faces of Star Wars now. So I can definitely understand getting a little frustrated if you're stuck under the bucket, especially if I think it's episode 4 and 5 or maybe 6, where there are some episodes season 1 where Pedro Pascal isn't in it at all. It's a body double and he just does the voiceover.
Yeah, and there's actually, like, there's been talks about how the later episodes in the season, they're supposed to focus less on the Mandalorian, because apparently, again, these are none of this stuff is like fully confirmed or not, but there's word that apparently Pedro Pascal, he was dropped midway through the season or something like that, and like I said, the later episodes focus on completely different characters. Now I'm hoping that's not true.
That'd be imagine if just out of the blue he just dies mid-season. that'd be wild. But
I don't know, man.
There's a plethora of characters that are sort of rumored to appear that could fill his shoes, and so we knew a season 2 was coming since like a week after the first one ended. I remember Jon Favreau shared that image of a statue of a Gamorrean guard on Instagram. It's like, oh, season 2 coming October 2020.
Yeah.
And so we've known season 2 is happening. I've read that season 3 is already in pre-production. So, like, Disney really likes the Mandalorian. They want to keep this going.
And it's not hard to see why, too. I mean, it's like I said before, it's like the best Star Wars that we've gotten since The Rise of Skywalker. So
it really is. And stuff with like the Baby Yoda, it's free advertising. It sells itself.
Yeah,
but we'll dive into that later episodes. Right now we're sort of predicting, speculating about Season 2 in the trailer. And so I have a list of all the characters that were rumored to appear this season over the past couple months. There have been so many rumors and speculation flying around, so I'm just going to run down the list. I want you to give me a yes or no on whether or not you think they're going to appear.
All
right. Captain Rex.
Can there be maybes?
You can have 3 maybes.
Okay, maybe for Captain Rex.
Okay. Ahsoka.
Yes, definitely.
Bo-Katan.
Definitely.
Cobb Vance.
Who is Cobb Vance?
Okay, we'll get into that. Cal Kestis.
No.
Yeah. Boba Fett.
Maybe.
Sabine.
Said I get 3 maybes. I'm gonna say no.
Okay, because there's rumors that's who we see in the trailer.
Yeah,
and so
the hooded figure.
The hooded figure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm really not sure because it's so weird. It's about like 40 seconds into the trailer, and it's the same. This shot is voiced over by the dialogue from the armor from last season, talking about the Jedi, the enemy sorcerers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, if you have a character in a hood at the same time someone's talking about Jedi and sorcerers,
it makes you think they might be a Jedi
maybe,
or something.
Is it?
I don't know.
Could it be a part of Luke's new academy? I feel like
I don't know. We're getting into like.
This is like we are. The one thing I really like about the Mandalorian is we are in an unexplored time. Is like it's 6 years after Return of the Jedi, after the fall of the Empire, and so I don't feel like that's enough time for Luke to have like an adult Jedi student.
Yeah, there's so much they could explore, you know.
I saw one theory that it was like an imposter Jedi, which I feel like that's almost more plausible than like actual Jedi.
Yeah, especially so like right just 6 years after the battle event. No, I don't think so. And
it's like we see the first shot of the trailer is the Razor Crest looking quite worse for wear.
Yeah, it's seen better days for sure.
There's a part of me that hopes that becomes like a running like joke or gag each season, is that like, oh, the Razor Crest gets destroyed and has to be rebuilt every season. Because like the first season there was that whole thing with the Jawas, and
they absolutely wrecked it, just stripped it down to nothing.
And then I love in like when he goes to the mechanic on Tatooine, she's like, your ship's a piece of junk. And then the droid in episode 6 was like, this ship is crap. It's operating at 60% efficiency. We shouldn't use it. It's like, it was pretty much rebuilt from the ground up by an Ugnaught at like 2 a.m. So
exactly.
the fact that it's flying at all is kind of a miracle. But so we see that destroyed, and we see what look like a couple new planets, a couple possibly familiar faces.
Looks like we're going back to Tatooine.
Which,
again.
A lot of people dislike that, but I really enjoy the Tatooine episode of the first season.
I honestly, I don't mind Tatooine itself. It's just other desert planets, you know?
Yeah, that's the same. But so that's where Cobb Vance potentially plays into it. So Cobb Vance, he's a character from the Aftermath trilogy of books, and he is a guy that, like, he's at like a Jawa garage sale. I'm paraphrasing here, but he finds a suit of armor that looks like it's been burned by acid.
Ooh.
And so it doesn't flat out say Boba Fett.
That's Boba Fett.
It's most likely Boba Fett.
It's Boba Fett.
And so like, and then like the story ends with like Cobb Vance kind of becoming like the sheriff, but then he's confronted by a figure who says that's not your armor, and so it's sort of been left ambiguous for years now about like what is the actual fate of Boba Fett, and that's something that I feel like this is the perfect series to address. And
I hope so.
I feel like we've seen Boba Fett already.
I'm holding out hope.
at the end of the Tatooine episode. I feel like that's Boba Fett, but I'll get into my reasons why I'm going to die on that hill when we talk about that episode. But so, there were theories about Rex possibly appearing as, like, Tamara Morrison, but, like, I feel like that's a bit too obscure.
That doesn't seem plausible to me. Like, why would he appear? What reason would he have to be
I don't know. But, like, you could justify Ahsoka, because, like, you think she'd be... What would she be? This is, like, around... This is after Rebels, like 6 years after Rebels. So she'd be, like, in her, like, 40s? Like,
yeah, and
late 30s?
She has a relationship with the Mandalorians.
Exactly.
With Bo-Katan and Sabine. So, it makes sense for her to make an appearance in the show.
That's another one that... There's theories that hooded figure played by Sasha Banks could be Sabine, but then why wouldn't she be in her armor?
Right,
it's like,
right,
Sabine doesn't really... She doesn't... Her whole thing is, like, colorful Mandalorian armor. So, like...
But, the Mandalorians, they did fall from grace.
They did. That's one of the things that I want to talk about when we talk about Season 1, but the lore that this adds to Star Wars is just amazing. But going back to planets, we see a water planet with looks like a lot of Quarrens. So, could be Mon Cala.
I'm probably willing to bet that it's Mon Cala.
And
it's the first time. Well, not the first time, but one of the first times we see a ship, a boat in Star Wars.
A regular boat. It's like, whoa, the Mandalorian's on Deadliest Catch.
There's actually a comic in Star Wars that features another boat, and it actually features Jar Jar and his dad.
Oh my god. And we were talking about this yesterday in our one group chat.
Oh wow!
It's like,
Jar Jar, he gets shipwrecked with his dad.
How do Gungans get shipwrecked? They can breathe underwater. Just swim away. Okay, now I'm shouting. I probably shouldn't shout. But so there's also that boat in The Last Jedi on Canto Bight.
Oh right, that
goes off the waterfall. But
that's kind of not a boat because it's
fun.
Floating.
It's fun seeing our stuff in Star Wars.
Right,
it's
you
like,
never think to see a boat, and it's just something that
it's like Dr. Pershing's glasses.
Right,
in Season 1, where it's like that was one of like the 3 things that George Lucas said he never wanted to see in Star Wars. It's like a person wearing glasses, buttons on the uniforms. I forget what the third one. It was probably like toilets or something. But so
you never see toilets in Star Wars though.
Except for Rebels. And The Mandalorian Season 1.
You're right.
This is just adding so much lore to the show. Another planet we see is a snowy planet, which has roused quite a great deal of theories.
One of the biggest ones is that it could be Ilum, which is like the birthplace of the Jedi, like their main Jedi temple. But from what we know now is that the Ilum, it would have been overrun by the Empire by now.
Well, you'd think so, but like, because Ilum becomes Starkiller Base, and this is 24 years before. Yeah, 24 years before Starkiller Base shows up and explodes in The Force Awakens. So, I remember Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni talking about how, we could be exploring, like, the rise of the First Order and stuff. Which, like, I could definitely see, like, Mandalorian, like, flies past, like, Imperial remnants. I don't know why.
Or maybe, like, a construction site.
Something like that. So,
because
again,
in Jedi Fallen Order, you, when you visit Ilum, it's already Imperial occupied.
Right, and it already has like the main big like chunk of it missing, where Starkiller Base will be built. So I could definitely see like they abandoned it during like the fall of the Empire and stuff.
And as they're rebuilding, and then maybe they come back to it. Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly.
If the Mandalorian's looking for Jedi, then I could definitely see Ilum being like a potential place that he goes. And especially since there's a whole, especially if Ahsoka's going to be in it, there's a whole arc in the Clone Wars about Ahsoka taking younglings to Ilum for their crystals and stuff.
Right.
So we know that Ilum and Ahsoka are connected, and if Ahsoka's in this season,
there's just so much evidence pointing to it being Ilum, you know?
it would be really interesting to see in live action.
I agree.
Like, other than Starkiller Base.
Right.
But, like, the actual, like, Kyber crystals and stuff. Anything else in the trailer? We see the whistling birds return.
What do you mean the?
On his gauntlet, like we see,
Oh, like
he
the-
arms
yeah,
he
yeah,
arms
yeah,
the whistling
yeah.
birds, and the child closes his little tram.
You know, they were kind of disappointing in the first season that they were kind of just wasted that one time.
He used them on the stormtroopers to great effect, and then again on the Clancy Brown Deveronian to like no effect. But yeah, I'm really excited about this season.
Same.
And I'm excited that we didn't see any of we didn't see Rex or Ahsoka or Bo-Katan or anyone.
Yeah, so it leaves it was honestly more of a teaser than like a full trailer.
We saw Grief Karga and Kira Dune again.
Yep.
I love Grief Karga's new robes, and he's like trying to legitimize the bounty hunting guild.
Yeah. And it looks like what's the name of that planet?
Navarro,
yeah. It looks like we're gonna be on Navarro for a while.
It looks like there's a Imperial base on Navarro. We see stormtroopers in the
shot
hallway.
With the scout troopers on the on the speeder bikes going down the hill. And that all looks like Navarro.
It's I'm wondering if that shot of stormtroopers running through the hallways, is that a base on Navarro? Is that a Star Destroyer?
I think it's a base on Navarro.
Yeah. I feel like those Outland ties with the folding wings, we see 3 more of those. Those would be, if Moff Gideon had a Star Destroyer, they'd be on those. But we didn't see Moff Gideon in this trailer, which is interesting.
You're right. We didn't see him at all.
There's a photo of him in the Entertainment Weekly released a couple photos a few weeks ago. So, and he's definitely going to be in it. And Giancarlo Esposito has been talking about how he has a really cool lightsaber fight, and Moff Gideon knows how to use the darksaber and stuff.
Well, I would imagine he knows how to use the lightsaber if he's
that. We'll definitely talk about this when we get to that episode, but that might have been my favorite oh shit moment of season 1, where it's oh yeah, of course
the darksaber comes out.
Of course Moff Gideon survives the TIE fighter, but oh my god, he's got the darksaber. It's I'm really hoping that that Bo-Katan, if she's in this season, because the actress Katie Sackhoff is rumored to appear, I really hope it's not just a flashback of her dying. But yeah, really enjoyed the first season. Really looking forward to this season.
Oh yeah.
I feel don't put out another trailer. I don't need another teaser. It's definitely gonna watch this.
I agree 100%.
So those are sort of our thoughts about season 2, about the stuff we're sort of excited to see. Make sure you stay tuned as we further sort of go back and break down season 1 of The Mandalorian in preparation. And until next time, remember that this is the way,
and this is the pod.